And now for the donut shape that makes use of all 7 elements of drawing. So we're going to start with a curve on the far side, and then on the ends come around like this, making it pretty fat. Okay? And then on the bottom, give the bottom a pretty good curve. About like that. Okay, now we're going to draw the near part of the donut first. Following this, kind of swing around here and go fairly close to the edge. Don't touch the edge, but go about this close. And come around here on both sides. And this is the top of the near side of the donut. The next line is going to be the bottom of the far side. So following the far side, and as you do this, will you make sure that that's smaller than this, because it's farther away and should be smaller. You have a lot of leeway. I'm going to drop mine down on just a little bit so it doesn't look too much smaller. Now make the near side a lot heavier. I want you to do that for a special reason. I'll explain it to you in just a little bit. Make the near part, only the near part, a lot darker. You leave the far side not quite so dark. Now, put an X right there, light X, and put a 0 back there. Just 2 marks that I'm going to refer to. Now, the X is the near part, the nearest part to you. So we curve these contour lines around here, start curving them a little bit, and then curve them more and more, and then make them really round as they go away from the X. See how those help make that go away. Curve away from the X, starting, see, right at the X they're straight because they're curving right toward you like a penny on edge. But then they start to curve a lot, and curve those really round as they go away, and those are contour lines. And then keep curving them till they get back to the far part, which is the 0. Just keep curving these a lot, and then just as you approach that 0, straighten them up, and then they have to start curving the other way. Now try to make those really go around and try to feel that donut as it goes around. Okay, get some of those on, and that's a real good one to practice on, because it's really not too easy to draw these things, and if you practice them and begin to understand them, you're going to be able to draw a lot of things in nature, and you know, the arms on people, for example, and the trunks of trees and the branches, and the insects and reptiles and so on. You're going to be able to use those contour lines a lot. Okay, now let's shade the left side and underneath. Put a lot of shading on the left side and underneath, and make that shading extra dark. And then on the other side, like the inside of a pail, put some shading over there, but don't make that quite as dark. Okay, remember we made it dark. Now we all know that a donut doesn't really have a lot of lines around it, but you have to understand those lines when you're putting the frosting on, or the icing. The icing will curve with the donut, or any detail on any airplane or anything curves with the donut. I mean, curves with the surface, and the icing curves with the surface of the donut shape here. So if you learn the contour lines, you'll be able to use those in drawing wrinkles and the pattern on people's suits and dresses, and you'll be able to do that, use those a great deal. Okay, I'm going to put a bit of color on mine. I'm going to make it a blue donut shape. It can be it doesn't have to be a donut, it can be an inner tube or whatever you want it to be. But I'm going to show you the elements of drawing now. The near part is closer to the bottom of the picture, so we use this symbol to mean surface. We're using the surface of the ground. The near part is larger than the far one, so we have another symbol, meaning we used size to make one thing seem like it's closer to you. Then the contour lines that we talked about, that's the symbol for contour lines. Then overlapping, where we cut the near part in front of the far one, overlapping like we do on mountains, and then shading to help it have more 3 dimensions. We curve under, away from the light. And then density, that's why I had you make the near part darker. Because of the density of the atmosphere, mountains and buildings in the distance, you can hardly see them because of the density of the smog. Well, there's no smog here, but because of the vividness of the near part, we can set the far part back using that idea of density. And the symbol for density is like this. And then we foreshorten the entire donut instead of drawing it round like a circle, like a 0. Okay, there are the 7 elements of drawing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and those are what make everything you draw 3 dimensions, and those are the rules of drawing, and if you learn those, you'll know what every other artist knows, and you'll be able to draw as well as they can.